All right, we're gonna try to fix some data recovery jobs that have already been to some other shops and they are not in good shape. I just finished 2 relatively straightforward data recoveries. I love ones that come to us first. Every microsolderer loves ones that come, that they're the first ones to take a look at, but that's not the case for these 3 boards. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can do anything with these. They are in pretty bad shape. Let's see. There's 2 iPhone 5s, and this is an iPhone, looks like an iPhone 6 Plus. Data recovery from a phone that was smashed during a fight. Customer took it to another shop, but were unsuccessful. Customer made it really clear that he wants the data. Well, let's take a look and see what we have on this board then. Let's take a look. All right, so we are going to start with, this came board only, so we are going to start with a visual exam and see what the other shop tried and see if we can kind of guess their path and guess their history here. So let's look to see, we don't know if it was water damaged or not. And we can see that it is missing some stuff. So I see that it's missing good old C5202, which means that at some point somebody was probably troubleshooting a VCC main short. So that's gone. And it is missing audio IC. It is missing VCC main caps by audio IC. That looks like possibly a replaced Mason chip. I'm not really sure if they replaced it or not. A lot of dried flux on the board. We don't know what's going on with the power management chip, whether or not that has been replaced or not. There's a lot of dried flux around here. The NAND area looks pretty normal. Here's a piece of glass. Piece of glass means that nobody put it through ultrasonic, so maybe it wasn't water damaged. It was just fight damaged, girlfriend and boyfriend fight damaged. Somebody was cheating on somebody. Shield has been removed down here. All of that looks fairly normal. A little bit of flecks of solder there from the shield removal. Let's flip it over. They got the shield off without burning the connector. That's good. All of this looks fairly nondescript. And then we get up here, CPU shield has been removed. And there's a missing cap there. And somebody's done a lot of work around here. So somebody has taken off the Mesa chip for home button. Somebody has taken off chestnut. Somebody has taken off strobe driver. Somebody's taken off backlight driver. Somebody's taken off the other backlight driver. And connector area, I don't see any signs of long screw damage. That's a plus. Connector area looks good. And that's all we have. All right, so I want to know what jumps out at you guys. This history to me looks to me like somebody was troubleshooting a VCC main short. So let's go back to that spot and see whether or not they actually found the VCC main short or if it's still there. So let's do that first. Let's see, is there still a VCC main short? So I'm gonna just put my multimeter in diode mode and I'm expecting something 0.3 if it's normal at VCC main. So red probe on ground, and let's see. And I am getting 0.000. Big old short on VCC main. Damn, it's a mess. Yes, it is a mess. This is a mess, so I made the title of this video, at least for now, Plz Bro, can you help me get my iPhone data? All right, so let's see. Let's see. Getting caught up on all the other videos after the all-day Chris Long marathon today. I didn't watch any videos today. I don't know what Chris Long was fixing. I was realizing that I have no skill at fishing. I suck at fishing, so I need all of your fishing tips. All right, so let's take a guess. Here's what I want to know from you guys. Why do you think this phone still has a VCC main short? Where is it? It's a little bit of an odd thing that you would get a VCC main short from a drop, like from a smash your phone, throw your phone at your girlfriend's head kind of thing. That's an odd fault to get. VCC main short is typical after water damage, but it's not really typical after drop. So let's see. In before Oreo pie. Yes. All right. I'll tell you what jumps out at me. And it is this. This is what jumps out at me right now as I take a first look at this phone. You really can't do that. This is a backlight driver. You can't rip off a chip and leave solder balls bridged together. Now, how do you get into that situation? This is probably heat damage from work done over here. So my guess is really, if it wasn't for this whole thing about having a fight, my guess is that the real history here is customer had a fight with a girlfriend and threw the phone, and that caused classic touch disease most likely. Then someone came along to try to fix classic touch disease by changing the Mason chip here, so the Mason chip, and in doing that they used too much heat on the board, which caused a VCC main short under backlight driver. Then maybe someone else was saying, hey, there's a VCC main short, so they went after all of these conventional spots. They did not go after VCC main at all down at the bottom of the board. This is a VCC main cap. There's VCC main under here. They didn't do anything over here at the baseband power management chip. So all of that's VCC main. So they must have been following heat and thinking that it had to be up here. And the most likely place is that it was under backlight driver. They did all this work and then they left it like this. This just is what? This is silly. All right, so let's take a guess and see what do these actual balls connect to? What's going on here under the chip? Because we can see a very clear and obvious electrical bridge between these two balls. All right, so let's see. All right, crack in the Mason? No, I think that's just flux and hair and shiz. All right, so let's go back and check on this backlight driver chip. So we are gonna go on over to ZXW. Let's see if we can take you guys over here and just, let's see, broadcaster, screen, can you see screen? Oh no, it doesn't look like you can see screen. How did that get messed up? What is on here? What is on here? Display capture, that should be working, but it doesn't look like it's working. All right, so we'll have to skip that. So I will look and I will tell you what's going on at ZXW for those pads. And lo and behold, guess what the answer is? This one here, this one right there is VCC main. You're kidding me. And guess what the one up here above it is? Ground. Oh my God, it's a miracle. Who could have ever predicted? All right, so step number one, order of operations number one here is we are going to just go ahead and correct that obvious mechanical short there on VCC main. So let's do that. All right, let's stick some flux on there and hit it with the mini hot tweezers. And just kind of clear all that away. Mash down these dudes. Okay, so we have now cleared what was an obvious VCC main short. Let's see if that was secondary or if that was the only cause of VCC main short. So let's go back and measure on good old spot here where we started, C5202 spot. So let's find out. So we're back in diode mode, and let's wake up the multimeter. Wake it up, multimeter. Let's get a probe there. No, it's a little bit of an odd reading. Let's try to get a really crisp reading on that one spot. Red probe on ground, and when we touch, let's pick a different VCC main cap. That guy has got underfill there and it's too hard to measure. All right, let's pick here. And we still have a VCC main short. So that is really not good news. Not good news at all. So now we can kind of just keep going on the same path of reasoning that they had been going on, which is, why is there a VCC main short? So we'll take the next most obvious candidate, which would be, because of the work in this area, we can take off the Stockholm chip. That other shop needs to get new microscopes. Yes, and maybe a few other things. So let's go ahead and we'll just see what happens with the existing flux on the board if we take off this Stockholm chip. And we're going with the assumption that there was work here, and that the work is what created the VCC main short, rather than it being an actual consequence of the original damage. But we don't know. And that's why it's so difficult to come behind people where you have no idea what they were thinking, what did they find, what did they do, and what kind of stuff did they already try. Alright, so we don't see any bridging under that, but let's see if that makes any difference on our VCC main short or not. It's amazing the other shop gave the phone back without putting stuff back. Well, I wouldn't put stuff back. If you put time into it trying to fix it and everybody thinks, oh, we're the best, then you're not gonna put stuff back on a dead phone. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, these chips aren't free. That doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, so we'll test now red probe on ground, and we still have a full VCC main short. Alright, so that kind of stinks a little bit, because now we have to just guess. So now we have to guess. Did they replace the power management chip for some reason, and in doing so cause a VCC main short under the power management chip? Because it's unlikely that a VCC main cap would just fail out of the blue. Let's make sure they got rid of VCC main caps up here. Let's also, I think I'm gonna put this board in ultrasonic just to clear up, since they missed such an obvious short here at the backlight driver. To me, that means that there's a chance that some of their work could have made some tiny mechanical bridge or something like that that we can't see because of all of this flux. Any solder balls lurking about? No, I don't see any solder balls lurking about. So let's go ahead and drop this one in ultrasonic, and then we can look at our next candidate while that one's going. All right, so we're just going to clean that off. And in the meantime, let's look at candidate number 2. All right, so where were these? That one? How about this one? All right, let's see. This is on iPhone 5, and this one says, let's stick the board here so that it's not totally nothing. There we go, candidate number 2. Water damaged. Request recovery of data in the Notes app. Primarily other data as able. Okay. So let's see what the deal is with this phone. So I see a red water damage sticker, and we're gonna see if there's actual bona fide water damage. So there is. I see some corrosion right there, and I also see that there was heat here, kind of a lot of heat. So let's look at this board. It baffles me why anyone would put heat on a board and do work on it without putting it through ultrasonic. So this board has never been through ultrasonic because of the appearance of that corrosion. But it has had a whole bunch of work done. So let's see what's going on. Let's get this sticker off. I saw that just the other day from folks that generally do a good job, that they missed some pry damage because they didn't take a sticker off a board. All right, so that's definite common water damage. Now, as we look at this shield has been removed before. So somebody has taken off this shield. So why you would take the shield off and then solder it back on, that's being generous. I can't understand why you would do that and not give it a bath. That doesn't make any sense. So there's water damage down here at this section of the board. There's a little bit of solder splash up, and then I see this. What does this mean? What does this mean? I see signs of too much heat on the board. So somebody has put heat, which means there could be a problem under here because underfilled chips don't like heat. All right. I wonder if it's Branson EC like Lewis uses. Yes, we use Branson EC as our electronics cleaner, which is what it's meant for. So it's at the right pH for cleaning electronics. All right, there's more frank water damage and a melted sticker, which I don't get it. I don't understand. Why would you not take the sticker off? What are you thinking? I just want to talk sometimes to whoever looked at this and go, what was the plan here? Why were you doing this? Tell me. All right, so for this one, we see some glitter. Got a little glitter damage. All right, so let's go ahead on this one and pop that shield off. Misleading title. Can you get data off my phone? I get my data in my hands. Make sure there's no data on the phone before I give it to recycling. Ready? Okay, let's take the shield off with our standard method using good old hot air. So we'll take all the shields off since this one has definitely seen water, so it definitely needs a bath. So I'll just start here with the back shield. And I'm going to use heat around the edges and just pop this sucker off. Did they just smooth brain it and attempt a Wagner reflow with no flux? I don't know. I don't know what's behind these shields. I don't know what we're going to find. It's so exciting. What are we going to find? Maybe it's beautiful. And the only thing that's wrong with this board is that it just needs a bath. Maybe it's going to be easy. I had a couple easy ones tonight, so I'm not yet in a terrible mood. And I have some patience for some prior repair attempts, like these ones. All right, see if we can get the CPU shield off without killing it. All right, that's off. And now let's get that bottom baseband area shield off. All right, so those came off easy because they've been off before. All right. I can't believe that peeps try to fix their own shit. Well, I mean, the one was definitely not DIY, and I just wish I knew. I wish people would tell us, like, some notes from the first guy. What were you thinking? What all did you do? Tell me. All right, so under the CPU shield, it actually doesn't look too bad. And boo! I see heat balls from heat here at the big underfilled baseband chip. That's not good. That is not good. Solder balls popping out. Not good. Drives me crazy. All right. Now I've got that song stuck in my head. Oh, solder balls popping out everywhere. More solder balls popping. Oh, God, no! Whoa, you can't do that, no! Look at this. This is bad news. Row of solder balls. Where do you think that came from? What do you think it looks like under here? Heat, 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 heat. Solder balls and heat. All right, and what's behind the other side? A lot of flux over here. Whoa. Whoa. What? God. Now I know why they put the shield back on, so they could cover this up. Yeah, okay. And way too much heat. Oh, God, what's this? A big spooge? Ugh. Heat. Too much heat. Too much heat. What were they doing? This cap looks like it's been replaced. Like, you know, well, a cap's missing. Better put it back. All right, and then here is some native corrosion that was under there. Why did you not give it a bath? I don't get it. All right. Maybe they took the shields off and then realized that they'd fucked it up so bad that they were like, oh yeah, no. And just put the shields back on and said, I can't help you. That's probably the history here. They intended, their next step was to give it an ultrasonic cleaning, but they knew that with this whole landslide and all of this heat, that they were fucked. So they gave up. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Okay, now this one's gonna get a bath. Maybe they put it in a reflow oven and set it to cremate. Maybe. Looks like it. All right, so we will give this one the bath it never got. And we'll go back to board. We'll go back to board number 1. Actually, let's look at board number 3, and then we'll pick the one that we want to work on the most. All right, so let's put this one back for a minute. All right, so that one's this. All right, let's look at board number 3. Get the vacuum out for all those solder balls. Yes. All right, guys, Urban Dictionary. Buy a mug with the word and the definition of Oreo pie. What a great idea. Let's look at number 3. Let's read the note on number 3 first and see if they can tell us a little bit about the history. History is so important. Data recovery, iPhone 5. That's it. Okay. So not much to go on from that note. All right. That is unfortunately true. One should not expect that the only thing with a single blown fuse will come in. Right. All right. So this is, let's take the sticker off so that we can see what's going on. All right. This just looks dirty. So this is a little bit unclear. That looks like earwax and hard-boiled egg. Pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah, that just looks like crud. It kind of looks like solder balls, but I don't think so. All right, so we've got a phone that's been used a lot, and let's just look at the board. All good over here, not all good over there. Boo! Oh man. All right, so what happened here? So this is long screw damage, screwdriver slip. So hopefully in the iPhone 5, that screwdriver slip is pretty common. and it looks like this cap here has been knocked, and this may have been, this may not be prior repair attempt. This just may be technician damage, screwdriver slip. All right, but you can't have a chip that looks like that. That's not good. So that's not good there. And we're missing, you can't have a, it's probably, I don't know what kind of, I don't know what that guy is. I think it's a data choke, most likely. And you can't have a data choke that looks like that. That's not gonna work either. All right, so let's see, there is some water on this board. I see some corrosion around the battery connector. What's going on with that dude? He looks broken. What's going on over here? This looks like more screwdriver slip. We'll get rid of him. Okay, let's take the shields off of this board. And this time I'm gonna make sure I keep the sticker so that we don't mix up our two iPhone 5 boards. All right, shields off. Time to get naked. Let's get this board naked. Screwdriver slip, what, how? Yep, there's a big standoff screw that goes in that hole. And then when you're putting on the battery connector, you have to screw into that screw. And people will use the wrong screw or get it out of order and mess things up. Alrighty. I wonder if we'll be able to fix any of these. It's gonna all depend on what the actual water damage looks like on this puppy. Somebody has inscribed the letter G on the back of this one. G for gory. All right, let's take a peek. Let's take a peek at the rest. All right. So this is what it should look like when you take the shield off. All of that looks good. This is, now here we get to the water damage. So we can, so this is why we want to always look at our water damage before it takes a bath, because the bath will erase our clues. So like this guy is suspect, and we want to come back to him and remember that that was there. It looks like some heat. That's, I think, a charging coil in the 5. Don't quote me on that though. So this is sort of edge of the board stuff. This cap looks kind of suspect. And what else? Whole lot of crud going on up here. Missing a little rear camera filter. That's no big deal. Whoa. Somebody went nuts with the screwdriver. Got a little screwdriver slip. We'll give him that, I guess. That guy needs to get some new screwdrivers. I wonder what he's using. Wonder if this guy's using the kind that come in the little packets when you get your new screen from eBay. All right, let's look under the CPU area. That all looks normal. And then we're back here. No solder balls, yay! Heat is really the only thing that can really make it nuts for you. Okay, and now time to switch. We'll put this one in the bath. And I want to grab that sticker that I took off so that we keep him together. I guess I'm going to keep him with his paperwork. All right. Switcheroo. Jessa, if you like, please make a picture of all incoming phones. Some have a changed orientation of single components to make our life hard. What? What do you mean, take a picture of all incoming phones? I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't noticed any changes. iPad Rehab, so were all these sent in from customers directly, or were 2 or 3 stores that send in? Oh, we get a lot of prior repair attempts. We get prior repair attempts more than anything else. Let's see, are these shops or not? This is a shop. Yeah, I think these are all 3 shops. They're all, I mean, most of our customers are shops. Okay, so let's go about correcting what we can over here in the big slide first. So I'm gonna guess that iPhone 5s, as far as I remember, and it's been a while, I'm gonna guess that iPhone 5s are okay booting without getting a thumbs up from baseband entirely. So we're just gonna ditch all of baseband stuff here. Now, I'm not sure if we can get away. I know they can't restore, or they won't be able to update if they don't have baseband CPU and baseband PMIC, but I think they can boot. So unless software is corrupted, which is a very real risk, then we should be able to get away with just kind of deleting a lot of this baseband here. So we're going to put some heat on the board and get this stuff off. So anybody that took a slide is going to get asked to leave. At least they didn't re-hot CPU, bro. Oh, that's really sticking on there. We'll get this guy first. Time to windshield wiper this board. Alright, I don't like that little solder speck. Separate that out. Alright, we gotta get out an iron and clean this up a little bit because we have some bridging. So let's just clean this up. So what did Chris Long fix in his all-day marathon today? I don't think those guys are touching anything. All right. Okay, this side, the breathable side, the side that doesn't have underfill, is largely corrected as far as that slide goes, as far as we can tell. I like to get that solder ball out. Yikes! My tweezers! This is weird seeing comments from users outside of the chat window over here in the iPad Rehab overlay. let's get that off. All right, so this is a baseband PMIC, and I think we're gonna pretty much give up on all of baseband. So we may take him off. All right. Well, here's where we have to kind of be concerned whether or not we have a VCC main short, because we have some ugly looking caps there. So let's test that. Let's test. Now I forget what the diode mode measurement is on iPhone 5 for VCC main, but I'm pretty sure it's lower than you'd think. But let's find out. 0.101. That might be a little bit low. Let's go ahead and kick off the ugly cap just because we can. All right. Is math related to science? Kind of. They're in the same building. Chris fixed everything. He did a 9-hour stream. Wow. That's a lot of streaming. That's a lot of streaming. All right, we'll use the Jessa method to knock off these dudes. That one's probably okay. That other one bothered me. All right, what else? So up here, I'm pretty sure this is camera or flash stuff. Right around there, so probably not super important. Okay, now let's look at the other side. We were spared damage to our touch chips and CPU, yay. All right, now here's the kicker is down here, these guys. So these guys had solder balls popping out all over. All right, so I think I'm going to give it a trial to see where we are before coming back and kicking those off the board, just because that's going to be difficult since it has, since they have underfill everywhere. This guy, I'm pretty sure, is the little MOSFET that connects USB to everything else. I think TriStar got a little hot. No, it didn't. What are you talking about? Over here? You're full of shit. TriStar's fine. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm behind on this. Let's see. Lewis, they are the same person, full bodysuit. What? Hey, Chris Long, nice to see your phones turning up here on Jess's channel. Ha ha ha. All right. Let's see. Scream Oreo pie to further smooth. Jesse Pinkman should be in here. All right. See, now you guys are talking about like way too many different phones, so I have no idea if you're telling me relevant things that I need to actually know, or if you are discussing who knows what. All right, so let's see what happens if we put this sucker on DC power supply. I think I will just eliminate the variable of that, of this dude here, because he had solder balls under him. So that guy, I think, let me just go check. I think that on iPhone 5 that is the USB MOSFET. Let's find out. iPhone 5. So you'll have to kind of bear with me since screen somehow got fucked up when I was making these changes. Alrighty, what are you? Q2, yes. Q2, my brother. Alright, Q2 is 5-volt USB. And yes, so 5-volt USB connector. I really should probably fix this. Let's see if I can. I wonder if I could add a display capture. Let's just promote it to the top. Does that work? Nope. I don't know why that doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense why that wouldn't work. But it doesn't work. You guys can't see my display, right? What's going on in here? What are all these things? Display capture. Oh, it should work. Not working. All right, so we can't go over and look at ZXW. So we will instead take this sucker off, and I will show you guys what, I'll just have to tell you what it says on the schematic about this guy, because we cannot look together at the screen. What are you gonna do? All right, so let's find our dude. Now I don't want to put too much heat on this guy. This guy is the EEPROM chip, I think, and he needs to be there. All right, so let's blow this dude off the board. So we're gonna scrape away the good old iPhone 5 underfill. This will be good because it'll at least let us look to see under this chip and kind of get an idea of how, whether or not we have like extensive bridging or not. And then maybe that'll be true for all these ones. Come on off, underfill. You can do it. You don't like that angle? I don't either. There you go. There you go, bro. Now let's ditch this chip. Yeah, see, there's little flecks of underfill and there's little flecks of solder and a bunch of not good shit. Boo! All right. So now what we need him to just basically do his job. His job is to offer some sort of protection from that USB voltage. He doesn't really do a good job of protecting anything because these things fry all the time. In fact, it was the iPhone 5 that was the first thing that taught us about good old U2. So we're gonna skip his protection now and just say, forget about protecting anybody. This phone's already fucked, and your new job is to just pass along the USB 5 volts and shut up about it. Just do your job. So we're gonna have to make a jumper to kind of force this 5 volts through him, whether he likes it or not. All right, so we'll stick a jumper on there. So now I'm going to check back. And my goal, I can look back at ZXW and the schematic, and it will tell me what's what on this Q2 iPhone 5. So what's up with Q2 iPhone 5? It looks like the 5 volts from the connector comes in at the back couple of pads, and then it connects through on the back line and the middle line to the USB 5 volts. So that's all we need to know. So we looked up on the schematic and we can see that there is 5 volts from the connector is coming in from the connector to like this pad here, and then it continues on its merry way now and forevermore. All right, so now we don't have to worry about whether or not he was not going to do his job. He has been laid off of work. Okay, so from there, I think it's time to see what we're dealing with as far as, will this phone show a big ass short because of all of the shit going on at the baseband CPU and baseband power management chip? Or did we get lucky And even though we see solder balls, they are gonna not really stand in the way of the phone actually booting. So let's find out. So I'm gonna cross my fingers and stick a screen on this puppy. Why not? Maybe, just maybe, it'll boot right up. I'd be surprised, but you never know. All right, so I'm gonna go to DC power supply, which now you guys can't see anymore since I moved it back around so that I could see it and it wouldn't troll me by me looking up and seeing on the screen. All right, so I have connected DC power supply, and it's 0 volts, which is good. Now let's prompt to boot and see what happens. Actually, maybe you can you see this over here? If I turn him around, is he still in the frame? Nope, he's too far out of the frame. Okay. All right, so it'll have to be the trust-based DC power supply. Prompt to boot. Prompt, 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 and let go. Bad news. On this screen, I see backlight only, but I do see a relatively normal looking boot sequence going on over there. So that's good, at least in theory. So maybe that screen is just bad. I'm gonna see whether or not this phone is detected by iTunes, because it looks active. It looks like things are moving around here on DC power supply. All right, iTunes detected in normal mode. Let's see, is it DFU or normal mode? Let's see. And it says, I'm gonna unplug and plug to clear the message and bring it back. Do I want to allow this computer to access information on this iPhone? Yay! So that means it is booting in normal mode. But I had backlight and no image on the screen. So let's cross our fingers that that was just a bad screen, which is entirely likely. But first, before we do that, let's look and see if we can see anything obvious. Okay, yeah, there's something obvious there of why we wouldn't have image. All right, I see an ugly looking connector. All right, so let's see. Yeah, that's loose. Look at that. That is a cold ass joint. Cold ass joint. All right, so rather than, since I can't show you guys on the schematic, since we can't do screen view, you can see that that joint is entirely cold. We will just kind of, I'm pretty sure that this guy's a filter, and I'm pretty sure that this is, gosh, what line is that? That's, I'm not going to be able to remember. But I've been here before. All right, so we're going to go with the reason why it doesn't have image is that, and we will just float that dude back on there. All right, let's do it. Let's get this thing back on here. Let's kind of get out all of that crud. Okay, that looks back to normal. So we'll alcohol clean it off and see if we are gonna get lucky. Let's see if we're gonna get lucky. All right, now we have a reason why we didn't have image. And I'm going to stick that same screen back on, at least so that we can test it and see what happens. So let's see what happens. We'll go to the bigger view so that I can hold this thing up. One day I will get fancy cameras so that you can see what's going on down here. It's a beautifully clean area. Everything's perfectly put away. Everything is just absolutely in order 100% of the time. And let's see if I have, I'm not sure about any of these batteries. They all seem a little sketchy. All right, let's plug that back in and let's prompt to boot. off of DC power supply. We're going to prompt to boot off of DC power supply. And ta-da! It looks like I have an Apple logo. Yay! All right, so let's see. Did this guy give his password? I wonder if he wants, this is the guy that wants the notes. Probably writing a book. A lot of folks keep their notes for their books on like a note app. All right, let's see. Let's go over to chat. Chat got minimized. All right. Tuesday is almost finished over there. Okay. Let's see. No touch. Great. I'm going to go with that's the screen's fault. But this is definitely progress. We will be able to recover this board since its primary problem was all that heat in the baseband area, which again is just like all this needed was originally take off the stickers, Q-tip and alcohol, and then resolder that one pin. That's all it needed. That's all it needed. Probably, unless it actually has a touch defect, but I'd be surprised. All right, even if it does have a touch defect, we'll be able to solve a touch. I've never met an iPhone 5 touch that we couldn't solve. It's tough. Those chips are underfilled, but probably it was the screen. If not, we will do a touch job on here. All right, let's see. Ooh, I got a battery called 5 Test that was labeled as working good less than a month ago. So that's good. All right. Let's see if we have touch on this bad boy. All right, so we're gonna let this boot again. And I will read chat. Job done, Jessa. You buy 1 share of Apple, please. Allow you to hold a speech about right to repair in a share meeting. Okay. Okay, sure. Sounds good. You know, I used to own shares in Apple many times back in day trader days. That was a long time ago. Those were the days. All right, what else is going on here? Scrolling back. 145 bucks for Apple share. See, when I was buying and selling, it was 99 bucks. I bet they had a split. All right. Work, touch. No! Fuck! Boo! God damn it! Boo! Ah! All right. Touch circuit. I think we might, I need to go grab that other one out of Ultrasonic. You can't sit there for super long, but touch is going to be repairable. Let's just look around here. I'll let you guys figure out what's going on with my touch circuit. We'll flip it over here and you guys can tell me what's the problem with touch, or over there, see what the problem is with touch while I grab that board out of Ultrasonic. Ah. All right, did you guys figure out my touch problem for me? Let's see. Day trader days. Yeah, that was before. It was when I was a stay-at-home mom with like 1 or 2 kids. Those were fun days. But I was really, really into it, like about 2 weeks before the giant market crash. So that was not fun. All right. Okay, so let's just hot ripped economic chair. You mean ergonomic chair? All right, let's look to see, kind of following at the connector, if we see anything that is jumping out at us for corrosion for touch. Otherwise, we're gonna have to kind of look at the touch ICs over here. All right, so sometimes these caps can fail, but I think to investigate touch on this board, it's really going to require looking at the schematic a lot and following lines. But there really wasn't very much water damage on here. So, oh yeah, here we go. There is some corrosion up here. You're a filter. You're a filter and you look like a piece of shit. Yay, I love to see corrosion in the area that I'm working on. Alright, I don't know who you are, but you look like a filter and you look like you are not doing your job. The pin pads all look okay. This guy looks pretty ugly. That little pad there. That looks pretty seriously ugly. Just get him out of there. All right, I'm gonna look up this guy to see whether or not he's a touch dude. Hi Jessa, love your stream. Trying to clear my thoughts, and this seems like the perfect way to do it. Yes, watching other people's fuck ups. Sounds great to me. All right, let's see if we can solve any of these. I've been forced to drink regular Coke, sucks. We've been out. Sunday has to drive her dad around since she lost her mom. So think about legal issues, removing non-corroded JTAG connectors. Why is you own the device? The customer owns the device. You can remove whatever the hell you want. No, isn't that right? Okay. Personally, I think that's a giant waste of time. I don't have time for vindictive moves against Apple. I'm just trying to fix shit. All right, let's see. You are fucking camera. Nobody gives a shit. All right, so that little filter is a camera filter. All right, now this cap that we kicked off is for a 3v0 proximity IR line, which also doesn't really look that promising for being a quick and easy touch job. All right, what else around here could be a quick and easy touch job? What are you? Who are you, mofo? Ooh, yay. Are you a filter? You could be. You could be a filter. Who are you? Tell me your name. Tell me that your name is Touch Filter, Touch Line Filter. Let's see. All right, where is that guy? Above the little dude there, little dude there. Fuck you. Proximity. Nobody cares. All right, I'm going to click here in the touch connector to see if I can see any kind of touch power rail that could be missing or down. I doubt it, but we'll see. Yeah, those are all just going to be dudes. Who was that guy? Little cap. Fucking proximity sensor. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me figure out why you don't have touch. Alright, what else is possibly going on around here? I want to make sure I'm looking at this same guy. Well, since I see that I can read the board there, see how that's ground, so I know he's not a filter, he's a cap, and therefore it doesn't matter. Don't matter none. So we're gonna have to go further back in touch land. I think these guys are touch dudes. This guy goes bad a lot. This diode. Not sure I even have a donor board anymore that still has a good one on it. Maybe we can fix the other guy's 5 and then we can borrow his. Alright, let's look and see if any of these need to communicate from LCD. How about this dude? Who are you? He doesn't look bad enough to be a problem. But let's look him up anyway. Who are you, little dude? State your purpose. Ooh. He is a image filter. Let's just check to see if he has continuity. And then I think that we should move on to one of these other dead boards. This will be ultimately solvable. Touch is just kind of a really straightforward function, but it's not going to be fun since you guys can't like follow along the schematics. Yeah, he's fine. All right, I think before leaving it, I would suspect that diode. I would suspect this guy, and if not, actually he might be a cap. If not him, then I would change Mason and Sage and Cumulus on this board, which is kind of a pain in the ass since they're right here and they're covered in underfill and you got to rip all that off. All right, let's see if we can get a little reading on this dude. He looks like a diode, but I feel like he's a cap. OL. Yeah, if I had a donor board, if I fixed that other one, I would borrow that over here and see if that solved it. All right, so for now, let's put him aside and a taint cap. A tantrum cap. Yes. All right. I am no good at fishing. Where are my fishing tips? One pin of connector is corroded darkly. What are you talking about? I don't see any kind of connector pin corroded darkly. What are you talking about? Nobody cares about the camera connectors. So all I care about is image and touch, and those connectors look fine. All right, we're going to put this aside and say that this is going to be repairable, but it needs a touch job. All right, so that's less exciting. All right, so let's see. Let me clear out some of this space and get him back with his paperwork. It would be nice to fix the other iPhone 5s just so that I could proof my parts here. All right, this guy's gonna go over here and needs a touch job. All right, let's look at our other iPhone 5 board. All right, so let's recall what the deal was with this. We had some water damage that we cleaned off, and we're just taking another look. Now this one was the screwdriver slip, and we already did an operation on the last guy on this dude, which we need to do again. And then this looks like a data choke. Let's look up and see what he's for. If he's going to be for something like headphones, then we're not going to waste time with that. All right, let's see. What are you for? What are you for? Tell me. Tell me your purpose. State your purpose. What is your business? Ooh, his name is L22, and he is part of the line that goes through him is Econ Pair 2. and econ pair to P and econ pair to N. All right, so that is important. So if we don't have those dudes, then we're going to have a problem with our data communication. And if we want to ultimately get this thing to boot and get data off via iTunes, then that's a problem. So let's go ahead and do an operation in here. So we're going to do that same operation we just did on Q2. And we don't even have to look anything up. We know exactly what to do. All right, so let's knock off this guy's Q2. First verse, same as second verse, same as the first. A little bit louder and a little bit worse. Fried ham, cheese and bologna. And after the macaroni, we will have some pickles and pretzels. And then we'll have some more fried ham, Yeah, man. Good old summertime, full of camp songs. So I went fishing again this morning, another giant fail. I have learned that that fish kind of have like middle fingers, which I didn't really realize. Isn't that pretty? We'll get this guy off while we're here. At least I assume so, because I mean I could see fish in the weeds. There's weeds by this dock. I could see them, and they would just come by like, oh, what kind of fucking fish doesn't like a worm? That's ridiculous. There we go, nicely cleaned up in there. All right, now let's get some jumpers on here. Now I'm putting jumpers because this is an iPhone 5. Nobody's ever going to really use this to be a phone again. And because my goal, I don't want to put a whole lot of work into something that may never boot. I can always decide to come back later if there was a reason to want to make it a phone again that would be robust and sustainable. But for now, there isn't such a reason. We are going after their important data. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna win. If only I had some tweezers. But the Plz Bros have plenty of great tweezers. All right. Couple of jumpers. First, I will turn my soldering iron on into the on position. That's always helpful. Come on, mofo. There you go. Cute little thing, nice and easy. Now we're going to borrow your buddies, and we are going to jump across the E pair P and N. Just because we need them in order to be able to transmit information through the dock and have it arrive at wherever it goes. TriStar. There we go. The world's ugliest but yet functional jumper, and who cares? Fair enough. Okay, let's see what else we need to fix before we can test this bad boy. Alright, so we learned on the last phone that VCC main on iPhone 5 will boot if it's something like 0.1. So let's go back, because we did have somewhere, oh yeah, it was down there. But let's just check our VCC main rail before we put power in the phone, just for fun. And let's pull back up chat window. Let's see. Cold soldering. Jumping a filter. Yeah, man, I'm gonna jump a data line filter that does not carry a high voltage all day long. I will jump that all day long. All right, let's see. All right, 0.123 sounds reasonable. All right, now what we care about over here, it's unlikely that this phone would have ever come to me if it had just, we knocked off Q2, because it probably would have booted. So we can only guess that the corrosion, which was around this dude here, that was pretty severe. His diode mode reading is 0.416. I don't know what it's supposed to be normally, but I'm going to guess that 0.416 is pretty close to normal. All right, do we see anything else jumping out at us? So we've got more. I'm pretty sure that this is just camera flash, so I'm not going to spend time there. I don't know if these two caps are important. Let's see. 0.352, that doesn't seem like a big short of any kind. So I'm going to say let's try to boot it. Let's try to boot. Let's try to boot. Make a Home Depot run. All right. What are these hot metal pokey things? I use a blowtorch, says a guy who sounds like one of the Plz Bros that sent us this thing. I feel like Jessa reads chat thinking, I fucking hate you people. I didn't say that out loud. All right, let's see. Let's see. Sometimes I don't hate chat people. Sometimes. I don't know. I'm hating a lot of people right now. Somebody in the Practical Board alumni group wrote, let's all say something that we learned this week. And there were some great things in there. Like somebody posted that they learned that if a TriStar chip, if you replace TriStar and then you go back and charging is not solved and you replace Tigris, that sometimes bad Tigris can kill TriStar, which has happened to me before. So that was the thing that he learned. I thought that was pretty good. Another guy learned something about eMMC readers. And then my thing that I learned was, I learned that a lot of guys in intro group are assholes. Like, man, like I'm really kind of like, why do I go over here and answer questions? You guys are assholes. Sometimes it feels like everything that I say, people interpret. I mean, I could say the sky is blue and it'll be like, Jess is a bitch. She's always talking down to people and condescending. What? I answer questions as efficiently as I can, and people do not like that. And then I got a whole bunch of messages about like, why are people so mean to all these things that you say in intro group? I don't get it. Some really nice messages. One message was probably the best message that I've ever gotten. All right, so we are gonna see if this phone, I kind of hope this phone doesn't have touch, because then it means my screen's bad. Cross your fingers for no touch. All right. Jessa, when do you make your thank you video to Philippe for all of the knowledge that you didn't learn yourself? I don't know. I think I wrote something and deleted it. Oh, it was when I helped that Aaron Harrington kid solve his phone that was just a, he was going to go after Oscar and all of this. Like, no. And then there's these guys that are all like always looking for zebras and thinking everything's really hard. So he solved it. And I was going to say, oh, yay, it has, oh, damn it. It has delayed touch. Maybe I should go back and check on the other one just for the delay. You know how these 5s are, it like takes them forever, especially if they've been dead for a while. So I was going to post to him like, you are welcome, and now I will take credit for every one of your future repairs. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, so we need a passcode. Uh-oh, it doesn't like, oh, it does, okay. I thought it didn't like my USB connection, but it's okay. It's cool with my USB connection and my jumpers. Fucker, this is your phone. I can't stand it when you don't give me the right password. Fuck. God damn it. Right, I'm going to look in the ticket to see if his password is written and crossed out. See if he changed his mind. Love, love, love Repair Shopper. If you guys are still on the fence about Repair Shopper, it's things like, moments like this where Repair Shopper really shines, where I can look back at a text copy of every piece of information that we've ever captured from this particular job. So I can look up here to see what the passcode, the written passcode is, and it's wrong. It is officially wrong. Great. All right. Oh, this guy says that he believes the broken terminal for the battery has damaged the board. Good. Close. What else could that passcode? Nope, that's what he wrote. All right, so he needs to go back and get questioned on his passcode. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I am going to just super easy, love Repair Shopper. I wish I could bring you guys over here to see it, but I'm going to update him and say, this phone is ready to recover the provided passcode of beep, 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 beep is not correct. Please provide correct passcode ASAP. I will put this back in queue. Pending correct passcode. So it's as easy as that, and then I can hit issue and send ticket update, and now he automatically gets an email. And Repair Shopper, oh, it's on Microscope that whole time. Whoops. So he automatically gets an email of that update, and it's automatically saved to the ticket. So if he were to call, hey, why is this not fixed? You know, then the front people could easily look up and say, well, it's because you didn't give the right passcode, and as soon as you do, we'll get prompted to go back in just a few. All right, and this guy is going now to storage. So we have a path to data on that one, so yay. I'm actually going to go back and measure his little, I think that's a tantalum cap over there, but I'm not 100% sure. And fucker, if he gave me my passcode, I would borrow his cap right now. Ah, but he didn't. All right, let's see. Don't want to get any kind of board mix-ups. We label the shit out of everything all the time. All right, so the board has a new label, and yep, passcode is written on the screen, also wrong. All right, so this guy is getting a little yellow ticket that says needs correct passcode, and that gets put on Sunday's desk. Oh, that one needs passcode, customer updated. Alrighty, so that is no longer in my queue. Now, let's go back to this dude and see what we can see. Let's go back, shall we? All right, let's go back to this one. All right. let's see, what did I miss in chat before we get back to messing around with this board, with this mess? There's a machine with iTunes they've previously synced backed up to. You can plug it in and it'll still back up for you. It won't back up for you unless you know the passcode. But if you have, you have to always trust. You can't just plug in a disabled phone or any kind of phone and get it to back up. So if you have a disabled phone, there is no path to data unless you have that passcode, and you're not going to get. The only thing you can hope for is another crack at the passcode by plugging it into something it has previously shaken hands with before and it has previously trusted. Then it will consider that as some mechanism of trust, and it will allow you to update and give you another crack at the passcode on some iOS versions, not all of them. Some of them you're completely out of luck. And that trust certificate expires on that old machine as well. So it doesn't really solve very many to do it that way. So disabled generally means no path to data for no one in the world. All right. No one ever does that. That's right. Jessa, plug in the new repair family keyboard. What does that mean? Hit passcode key. What are you talking about? Is that Solder Bailey 1? Is there a B-Sync line on the iPhone 5 between the LCD and the touch pen? There's something like that. There's as far as just from memory, but nothing looked bad around there. There's some kind of a like the HiFub. It has a different thing. It doesn't have a chestnut. It has that negative boost chip, which goes bad a lot in water. But all of that is boring if you can't look at the schematics. Then you're just kind of hanging out. All right, so this one, last we looked, had a VCC main short, which it undoubtedly still has. So let's check to see if it still has VCC main short. VCC main short and a whole lot of hoopla going on. All right, so let's get a red probe on ground. And it has got a big ass full short on VCC main. And we don't know why. So now, first thing, now that it's been through ultrasonic, which was really to just get rid of the flux. Oh, look at that. You got a big crack in the board. Wow. You can see so much more stuff now that there's no flux in the board. Look at that. It is a crack. Can you guys see that crack? Look at that. Cracked board. Cracked right over his girlfriend's head. All right, now a cracked board by itself in this area is not a deal breaker for data. But it can't be like bridging other shit together. Kind of tempted to just break off the end of this board. So let's see if we can mend that a little bit. Kind of tempted to break that off. There's no VCC main out there though. But let's see. How close does it go? I don't think none of that's VCC main either. Wi-Fi chip though has VCC main. I wonder. All right, what else is going on here? Let's kick that out. All right, there's no VCC main connection under Mason or Cumulus. So now that kind of brings us down here to PMIC, and we have to guess whether or not anyone ever nudged or reflowed this PMIC. So let's try to look at the balls and see if we can guess. I'm not sure. All right, what else? What else could a drop? I think history is so important. And people forget about history or think it doesn't matter to ask, how did a phone get to be like this? How did a phone come to be like this? Let's look for bend here. Yeah, it looks pretty bendy. Yeah, there's a cracked coil right there. But still, like, could the VCC main be internal to the board short along this plane? Given that the fact that it's got this crack here means there was a lot more force than it looks like on this board at some point. So first guy probably was working in this area because he noticed this serious bend here. All right, so I think that it was not unreasonable. I don't know why he left this obvious VCC main short, but I think it's probably not unreasonable to have done a lot of what he did, which was to pretty much kind of clear out VCC main at this sort of bend point, which when he took the board out and it looked all kind of plain, that would have made a lot of sense. All right, so then bottom half of the phone is less likely. All right, so this kind of really leaves us with two possibilities. One is fracture in the board right here at the bend area. We can see a crack on that coil. We see a lot of pressure here. There either was heat here, which is what made this guy kind of prior repair attempt guy kind of come in here and denude everything off of VCC main. And then when it still had a VCC main, he said, fuck it, which seems pretty reasonable. So this guy, I'm going to say, is a lot less Plz Bro than we earlier pegged him for. Okay, so I'm going to go over and look at ZXW and see if there's anything that he might have overlooked on VCC main in that same area where that first bend is. And if not, I'm going to break this board. I'm going to break it off, because that's what I think would be the next most solvable thing. All right, so I'm going to click on a VCC main cap and see what our possibilities are. So there is, I'm looking for anything left on the board in this area that could cause a short on VCC main. Now we could take off some of these coils just to kind of see what side the short is on, but that's probably silly. That's not going to do very much for us because it doesn't really narrow anything really down. All right, and then let's look on the opposite side of the board, and I think he got everything. Let's check. Let's just check. He missed a little dude there. And I think he probably skipped those guys up in there, but they're unlikely since it's not water damage. All right, here's what I think. This is my read on this board right now. Whoops, what are we doing? Going crazy. My read on this board is that the primary problem is that there is a VCC main short on the board, and we're never going to get it to boot if we can't clear that short. So the possibilities for where that short could be right now is that it could be internal to the board here. That's possibility number one, that it's internal to the board because we have VCC main at the PMIC coming out there. So that's one possibility. Possibility number two is a fracture within the power management chip itself, or a nudge on the power management chip from the prior work. I'm going to look really hard to see if I can see anything that looks like a crack on the chip, which could cause it. And let's see if I can do that. So I am going to get some alcohol and just rub it around here a little bit to see if there's anything that looks like a crack. So dirt and glue and stuff generally will rub off, but a crack won't. So I can see some lines around here, but they all look very even. All right, so possibility number 2 is that the power management chip has some kind of a crack-based internal damage, and that's where the VCC main short is. So that's possibility number 2. And then number 3 is the clear damage that we see right here. And in fact, we can see in this crack that we can see that the board is already torn in this plane right there. You can see that. Let's see if we can drill down on that. All right, so I can see 2 layers of the board, 1, 2, are kind of, pushed up. This looks like an earthquake fault line. So that has already happened. This board is severed, and you can see it kind of coming through on this side and in the corner. This board is already severed, and it is offset. See that? Let's try to get this sticker stuff out of here so that you can see that. See how that is a full tear in the board. Look at that. So that's pretty bad. So it could be that if there are VCC main traces running through here, or any of the traces that are running through here, that they are now quite clearly going to be broken and or touching things that they shouldn't be. So that is possibility number 3. Now, what is the evidence for us to guess whether or not this cracked section, whether or not that has anything to do with VCC main? So what kind of VCC main? Oh, that guy's like just off. What kind of VCC main do we have up here in this top corner of the phone? And the answer is the Wi-Fi chip. The Wi-Fi chip and the cap that's already missing. The Wi-Fi chip has a line on VCC main. So somewhere, and if you had to guess, you'd guess that VCC main is probably over here, because here's PMIC, and then it would come in here to the Wi-Fi chip. In fact, if I look at where is VCC main on Wi-Fi, oh yeah, it's actually in 2 spots. All right, so according to ZXW, which I just glanced at, oh shit, where's my OBS? VCC main plugs into the Wi-Fi chip somewhere around here, and also somewhere around there. So given that really kind of changes the priority of things. Because there is a VCC main pad here at the Wi-Fi chip, that makes a lot more sense that the actual VCC main short is due to the clear and obvious break that we can see right here. All right, so what to do about this? So here's what I think we should do. I think that we should think about things in terms of efficiency, and we should think about things in terms of likelihood. So of all of those possibilities, which were 1, that there is an internal board short in the middle of the board, that was number 1. Number 2, there is a fracture within the PMIC itself, although we don't see any physical signs of that. That's number 2. Number 3 is that the fracture earthquake at the corner of the board has actually caused a VCC main short. That's number 3. And then number 4 is that it could be kind of within the Wi-Fi chip itself. So of those, the ones I'm going to demote as less likely are Wi-Fi chip and PMIC. And the ones that I'm going to put as more likely are number 1, this corner crack. And then number 2 would be internal board short kind of coming out of the PMIC. So what are we going to do about that? As we put our number 1 possibility is that the corner crack is the problem, then what I believe is that an iPhone is likely to be able to boot without that end of the board. So I'm going to break it off. So how can we do that? And I don't really know how I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to kind of finish finish what she started. I'm going to break this board. So I'm going to just break this corner off, so that way I relieve any crosstalk between these layers. So let's make that really crystal clear what I'm talking about. Cutting VCC main to Wi-Fi does not help me clear a VCC main short. All right, so I've got to clear this VCC main short. So I'm going to just kind of like continue this fracture line. I just want it to kind of like go all the way through there. I want to just slice this board. All right, so I am going to break that off, unless one of you guys can convince me why that's a bad idea. So let's see what you guys say. All right, what's the chip on the reverse side of the board where the crack is? I don't know, some antenna chip. Let's see what you guys, let's take a look before we break a board in half. Let's see. I'm scrolling back. Somebody's talking about a different phone. 10 layer broken. How to fix that? Return to sender. For iPhone 6 Plus to turn on, do I need both touch ICs? No. It may be time to give it the Rossmann treatment. Snap it in half. Yes, that is my number 1 plan. This is why data is on first energy rails. PMIC, bad PMIC. Widen the fault so no cross shorts. Yes, that is my plan. Break it off. Dremel it. Dremel with cut off disc. Snip nose pliers. Ball mill. Damn, you guys are crazy. Grind it out slow. Drill press. Yeah, no, we're gonna go with the efficiency plan. All right, it is time to break this board. I guess I'll do it under the microscope. All right, let's break this board. Break this board. We're gonna make this board great again by breaking it. So it's kind of scored a little bit. So we're gonna snap it off. There we go, broken board. All right, now let's look at what we're left with here. Let's see if we have a nice, relatively clean break here. Looks pretty clean in the part that I did, but the beginning part that the board did by itself is a little bit sketchy. Let's just clean that out. Okay. All right. No turning back now. Okay. And now for the big question. Do we still have a VCC main short? Let's find out. I'm going to guess with probably yes, because that would be just too easy. All right, let's find out. All right, so we are going to put a probe on ground and find out. Boo, still short. Still short. All right, so let's eliminate easy possibilities then. So we'll take off Wi-Fi, take off PMIC, and then that will really just leave us with internal problems that are probably too big to solve. Look at this cute little iPhone 6 Plus board. You'd never even recognize it now. All right. Let's look on the other side of that. Yeah, that's all really mangled. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just ditch the Wi-Fi chip. So I'm gonna grab a board holder. Didn't fit my board holder anymore. All right, let's get this in here. And let's ditch that Wi-Fi chip. Oh, there's like nothing for the thing to hold on to anymore. Little clips. Oh, you can still fit. There you go, buddy. All right. Let's just get the Wi-Fi chip off for the sake of completeness. Oh, that's not going to stay in there very well now. Stay on there, mofo. Get back in there. Let's see if I can get it stuck in here better. Maybe it'll fit better over here. Maybe a little bit. Goodbye, cruel Wi-Fi chip. Alright, let's grab a IC remover tool. Do you reuse parts that are ripped? There you go. Off with your head. Alright, now let's check. Do we have a VCC main short? Let's find out. Let's wake up the multimeter. Wake it up, multimeter. Oh, I don't remember where all of these go. Alright, let's check. Let's just check back here at the PMIC. At the yield, PMIC. Yep, we sure do. Alright, next, let's, just for the sake of completeness, take off this PMIC as really our only other really potentially solvable thing here. And then this board is into no fix territory. Unless we can come up with anything else. Everything's nice and clean now. Alright. Hey bro, what's your best price on a used Wi-Fi chip? Slightly used. Alright. Let's see. Let's get this sucker off. Hey bro, what's your price on a used Wi-Fi chip? Slightly used. Okie dokie. Kick off our heatsink. And look for any mechanical shorts. And test. So let's see, did that do anything? Yeah, the no fix part of this, well, let's just go see what this is. All right, diode mode. And it still has the same, it still has the exact same VCC main short. Let's see if we're missing anything else. I mean, I think there's VCC main under, pretty sure. I almost never deal with Oscar. We could take him off just to make sure we are not missing anything. But at some point you kind of pass the point of where it makes sense to fix this board. Like, you know, this board has too many variables and too much shit that needs to go back on in order to get data. And then you really do kind of turn to a chip transfer data recovery. But we don't quote that. Chip transfer is not part of our $300 standard data recovery quote. So that's why this would be no fix from us. And the chip transfer stuff is really, really tough. I mean, it's a technical challenge, but a lot of times, you know, when you have a board like this that is so damaged, the likelihood that the CPU is intact and unscathed is low, which is why it's not something that we would undertake that level of, you know, a big job like that under the standard data recovery quote. There's a lot more risk. Yep, so there is an internal VCC main short somewhere in this board. And unless we can kind of fillet something in here, I think we're done. We could see, you know, if we kind of ground down a bare board, we could at least figure out what layer VCC main line is that, you know, goes through here, so that you could try and drill out that spot. And we could try to put some current on here and try to see if it's actually here in this area or not. But I really don't see anything that's, you know, really obviously touching something else that it shouldn't be. Alright, so if we still have our VCC main short, then it is curtains for this board. VCC main, full short. Big ass full short. Alright, so let's see what's going on with CPU is almost bulletproof. No, it's really not. You could apply power and look for heat, but it's this is going to be an internal board short, and that, I think this board has now passed the it makes sense to continue to look for a cure for the VCC main short, because then you'd have to rebuild all of this stuff. And that, I think, is starting to kind of not make sense, because you're going to have to really be invasive. Just checking other lines to see if the CPU seems healthy. Maybe. Yep, so this one I think would get requoted as a candidate for chip transfer. And see what happens. Alrighty. So I think for today we have one board in the done pile. So on our tour of Plz Bro prior repair attempts, I think this one was, I think I am more positive, at least on this board, on the prior repair attempts. I think the prior repair attempt made sense. The board just came with a lot of flux on it, and it came with that obvious VCC main short on backlight driver, which, you know, he should have cleared in order to conclude that that it didn't have a VCC main short because of that. So this board has an internal VCC main short and is no longer worth trying to fix this board, and we'll go requote him for chip transfer and see what happens. Number two is the iPhone 5 that had the technician slip damage, and so that one is the one that is, we have a path to data, touch is working and everything else. And then the last board, I actually want to go back and see, I think that'll be the last thing that I'm going to do is go back to this other 5 and just check to see if now that I've kind of proofed my screen, I want to see whether or not it actually has a touch defect, or it could be that, like in the other 5 that we just did, that it takes like those extra seconds for a 5 to boot. All right, so let me get him back out. That's not it. And just see, I just want to see if I actually have to go do a touch job on this tomorrow or not. And then I think it's time to get the hell out of here. And that will be it for Plz Bro stream. Alrighty. Burrito time. All right, let's see. How long from the airport to your office? Like 25 minutes, maybe? All right, let's see. I don't know about proper, but it works for me to pick out shorted 0402 size components, or which IC has an internal short. Yes. Seek thermal imager. All right, let's go back to this. And we're letting it boot again. What percentage of your repairs is Plz Bro work? A lot. Like, you know, I guess Plz Bro work is unfair. Plz Bro work is let's give this a second here to see if he really has a problem. Plz Bro is doing dumb stuff for no reason other than the internet told you to. And I've been seeing a lot of that going on the intro forum. Bro, you know, just, you know, like one guy really drove me crazy where he was insisting that this guy's 6S backlight, 6S Plus backlight problem was the backlight driver. And he said, I've done 3 of these. See, bro, this IC right here. And he shows a picture of an iPhone 6 Plus board, not a 6S Plus, a 6 Plus. And he's pointing 100% tested working, bro. Change this IC. And it's like, A, that's not the same phone. And B, it's the importance of history and thinking. So what I said to him was, hey, let me guess. On all those 3 iPhone 6 Plus backlight failures you fixed by changing that chip, I bet every single one of them you first did a Touch IC job on, didn't you? And he said, yes. And then I asked him, how did I know that? How did I know that? And why is that irrelevant to this problem, which is backlight was working fine, guy changes the screen, and now it had half dim backlight. And that's the thing, the sort of like fundamental lack of understanding of the core concepts here. All right, so let's see. This doesn't like to wake up. All right, I don't want to press the home button to unlock. Have touch, you piece of shit. I don't want to have to go do a touch job. God damn it. All right, so this one looks like it's still gonna need a touch job. Let me touch forgot how easy it is to touch the home button in the iPhone 5. So I'm gonna smack down the home button with my tweezers. I smacked a little too hard. Siri's not available. Yes, I'm aware. There you go. Just a little gentle touch. Just a little gentle shorting with the tweezers. All right, let's see. You absolutely got a quote. I watched her make a quote. You need to check your spam folder. Yeah, I remember she sat here. You had 2 phones, I think. Yeah, she sat here and made a quote. But yes, come take the class. All right. It sounds like they could use their training course. Oh, I tried with these guys. The problem with these guys is language barrier a lot, and I get that. But we've had folks come to the course with serious language barriers. 2 people spoke no English whatsoever, and they both had a translator, and they both did well. It was actually kind of fun. Like, it's surprising how much you can convey when you know that someone doesn't speak English. You have to be concise, and you have to really choose what you're going to say, and then sort of say again the important point and make sure that he gets it. But there's so much that you can convey when you're looking at boards, just touching things and using tone of voice. Like, should this beep to here? Beep, yes or no? Like you can convey an enormous amount. It was actually really fun. Both of those courses did pretty well. All right, so I think we're going to be done. Half-dim backlight, 6 Plus after screen replacement. They have 2 filters. Yes, they do have 2 filters, and it's not going to be the backlight IC chip because it's not underfilled, so it's never going to be that, and it's not the same sort of history, which is the guy put too much heat on his Touch IC. He has an underfilled backlight driver, and that's what happens. So he needs to reball that backlight driver. Yes, on the 6 Plus, after touch disease with too much heat, changing Mason. That's not going to be the same fault on a 6S Plus that had a short to ground. It's a completely different fault in the line of thinking, and your troubleshooting and how you prioritize things is going to be different. And with that, we are going to be done. So we have 1 in the done pile, 1 in the not gonna be done pile, and 1 in the needs a little bit more work, but I think we'll get that one as well. So we're 2 for 3 on the Plz Bro phones, and that's it for today.